Uber's UU. It has been a solid almost 3.5 months since I last talked about this tier, and you can bet within that span a lot has changed, and I mean a lot. For instance, Arceus Ghost was one of the top meta dogs back then, and now it has been completely banned. Or what about how Iron Treads has been banned from Uber's UU, and how Great Tusk has fallen down to Uber's UU, although I confess, still Great Tusk has been doing pretty well for itself in this time so far. In any case, so much has happened, and I will discuss some of the key and strange meta trends in this tier that I believe are worth mentioning. If at any point you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more competitive Pokemon content just like this, as many of you guys watching are not subscribed. Thank you, and let's get started. Okay, so as a refresher, since it's been a while, Uber's UU is the subset lower tier of Ubers, as you can see with this graphic on screen. Ubers is the official ban list of the most popular metagame of OU, and Uber's UU takes the usage stats of Ubers and throws out the heavily used Pokemon. If that sounds confusing, it's basically as UU is to OU, and this has led to a lot of strange bans that you may not see otherwise in normal competitive play. For instance, Ribombee is a Pokemon banned from Uber's UU, even though it is an UU in normal competitive play, as the usage is based on the Uber's usage. The metagame has been having a steady player base since it started in October and is available to play right now in Pokemon Showdown, and they have their own Smogon page with resources such as sample teams, viability rankings, etc. And actually, Ribombee leads into my first point, sticky webs. In normal competitive Ubers, sticky webs plays a very dominant role in helping one of the big behemoths in Ubers gain a speed advantage over another, and that can snowball pretty quickly into a sweep of your opponents. OU liked it for a couple of months prior to the Indigo Disc, but power creep alongside prominent relevant rapid spin users and core change abusers kept it from arm's length in the OU tier. Ubers just doesn't have that many potent hazard removers except for Giratina. In any case, this has led to Uber's UU feeling voided in having a sticky webs option to control speed, unlike the other tiers around it. Except insert Galvantula, this fast electric spider Pokemon from Generation 5. This is the last and fastest Pokemon within the tier left that has access to the move sticky webs. Galvantula has taken up this role with pride as well. Although it does lack considerable speed compared to its counterpart of Ribombee, it's still relatively fast and can beat opponents with potent thunder as well with its ability to help slow down the opponent's side of the playfield further with its own Thunder Wave. Galvantula now can help cripple potent Uber's UU Pokemon such as Zacian Hero, Mewtwo, or even Arceus Dark, as well as counter Rapid Spin Great Tusk with an energy ball of its own, etc. The options are endless and definitely not a move opponents are looking forward to facing. Either take a Thunder Wave or switch out anticipating, however that could lead to Galvantula also unloading sticky webs if you're anticipating those Thunder Waves, so it's dangerous either way. Having sticky webs helps slower more powerful Pokemon come into play as well, such as Kyurem White, Landers, etc., which opens up team options and can explode hyper offensive teams on the scene with precise speed control. 108 speed for Galvantula isn't impressive for the fast Uber's UU tier, as usually 120 is considered the start of fast Pokemon, but getting those sticky webs can have a major implications for the match going forward. Speaking of implications, one could imply that Deoxys speed will be the premier hazard setter and be super popular as its normal counterpart. After all, it's the second fastest Pokemon behind Regieleki within the tier, and can relatively put up hazards and then dish out one attack before perishing with ease. But that hasn't been the case, and far from it, so much so that even though normal Deoxys is slower, most people prefer it over its faster counterpart. It is good to note that between the two, there was no debate that they were going to be the second fastest within the tier behind Regieleki, given how fast this DNA monster is. That gap between Regieleki and Deoxys wasn't that close with Deoxys and its speed counterpart. Deoxys' speed is extremely fast, and the role it wants to play is similar to that of its OU counterpart. Get up hazards, be annoying, scout the opponent, and then sacrifice yourself while spamming Psycho Boost or Knockoff, etc., you name it. Hazards and dish out damage is pretty simple. However, in Uber's UU, it can face stiff competition from a faster Deoxys normal as a lead set, and then of course there's Regieleki. This is because of its one-dimensional play due to its limited offenses in this day and age of Generation 9, and Deoxys normal in the meantime has incredible offenses of 150 in both of its stats, a massive leap from base 95, and the sacrifice was just defense, which both were fail anyways, and 30 in speed, while still being the second fastest Deoxys within the tier. It is here where you can see how Deoxys normal is more preferred choice, as the normal version has more versatility with its sets due to its potent offensive skills. Even as elite set, it can do that comfortably, being the second fastest Pokemon, and can even taunt Galvantula off its elite sets in order to prevent sticky webs, and then thereafter continue being an annoyance for your opponent's side. On top of this, it can even flex to be a fully fleshed out wall breaker with its insane offensive potency combined with efficient priority and extreme speed to make it one of the hardest Pokemon to take down. It has locate for Pokemon like Arceus Stark that negates its powerful Psycho Boost, then boost for general coverage, and then knock off for other Pokemon like Giratina, Mewtwo, etc. And lastly, it has extreme speed to wrap things up. Now, speed has all these moves and is faster, but is considerably weaker offensively in this department, which allows the Deoxys normal to accelerate as a two-dimensional monster on the field, where speed is more one-dimensional and has a hard time being as prolific as its counterpart. Moving on, it might make more sense in an environment with mons like Swords Dance Arceus and Sneasel, Dragon Dance Roaring Moon, Stamina Archaludon, and Nasty Plot Spectre that stopping setup sweepers is a huge part of Uber's UU metagame. In OU and the lower tiers, this can be accomplished pretty easily through the use of Unaware Pokemon. Unaware is an ability that allows your Pokemon to ignore stat changes of the opposing Pokemon, hence why they are such integral parts of any metagame. However, both Clodsire and Skeledirge are both banned in the Uber's UU metagame and are Ubers, and Pokemon like Clefable and Dondozo aren't very threatening enough to these legendary Pokemon. Dondozo is only physically bulky and gets slaughtered by the likes of Regieleki, and Clefable just isn't as sustainable with its bulk, with the multitude of legendaries and valuable steel types in the tier. Quagsire, though, of all things, does see as an unaware wall that can set up hazards or spread toxic, but that's basically limited to stall teams, so its competitive niche isn't as widespread as one might think as the premier unaware user in the tier left over. The answer to these setup sweepers isn't unaware, it's been phasing, which stands for pseudo hazing. In essence, this means that if a Pokemon switches out, their boosts drop back down to 0. But why would a Pokemon want to switch out? Because they couldn't KO extremely bulky Pokemon like Dialga, Giratina, or Zamazenta Crowned. These Pokemon are particularly specific in mentioning because they are very bulky and are able to live a hit and then thereafter click Roar or Dragon Tail, forcing a switch out by your opponent. Whether you pick Roar or Dragon Tail as your facing is actually nuanced. Dragon Tail loses to Substitute and Fairy types, but Roar also loses to Taunt. Typically, people think Dragon Tail is better, but some sort of phasing is almost seen on any and every team of Uber's UU. Phasing is super crucial to ensure your team does not get swept so easily by other powerful Pokemon setting up, which in short is a long-winded answer of saying it is an easy momentum stopper to help mitigate any further damage towards your side. Besides the one mentioned earlier, which are most common, you can also see phasing less commonly from Arceus, Dragonite, and Lugia. I also like to shout out the Uber's UU YouTube channel as well at the end of this. They've been putting out content for the tier for the past couple months and just live streamed a tournament finals this weekend that involved maybe the craziest over prediction into game loss I've ever seen, and also an incredible showing by the RU staple Hoopa Unbound. Linked in the description if you guys want to check it out, and I highly recommend it. Anyways though, let me know in the comments below what you guys think of these competitive trends in Uber's UU. Thank you to my members as well for their continued support. If you wish to support me even further, the link to my YouTube membership and Patreon are linked down below. Comment down below the electric emoji, join the Chompy Discord, and until next time, thanks for watching as always.